Shivam Sarvarupadharam Shantam Sarvanamadharam Shivam Satchitananda Advaitam Satchitananda Advaitam Satyam Shivam Sundaram. At the very outset, this invocatory prayer that was made represents the highest potential that each of us here hold. The prayer says, Sarvarupadharam Shantam. I have assumed all the forms in the entire creation, and yet I am the silent substratum, the unassuming substratum. Sarvanamadharam Shivam. Since I have assumed all the forms, every form goes with a name, isn't it? For example, from the students, what is this? Youngsters, what is this? A podium. It has a form, it has a name. What is this? A remote or a pointer. It has a form, it has a name. Like that you see around you, including your own body, anything that has a form has a name. Do you agree? Yes. I have assumed all the forms, and therefore all the names are mine, and all names are auspicious. And yet, I am not many. I am only one without a second. This beautiful invocation actually is invoking the highest potential in each one of us here. As a transformational life coach, I see this time and again, that the potential that is available to each one of us is infinite and equally available to all. But then there can be clouds of doubt, disbelief, probably lack of effort in order to bring out that potential from within. But this infinite potential that the Vedas talk about, in Purusha Suktam, this potential is described in an extraordinary manner. It says, Sahasrashirusha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva Atyatishtat Dashangulam Purusha Evedagum Sarvam Yad Bhutam Yascha Bhavyam Utamritatvasyeeshanaha Yadanne Natirohati Etavanasya Mahima Atho Jayagascha Purushaha Padosya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadasyamritam Divi. In this extraordinary revelation by the sages, they say that the potential that truth has, and they are describing truth as our own true nature, is Sahasra Shirasha Purushaha, the one with 1,000 heads, Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. What they are again trying to point at is the same thing, that we have an ability to tap within ourselves in such a way that all potentialities of the creation, infinite possibilities of the creation become available to us. And that is, again, I repeat this again and again, especially for my beloved brothers and sisters, the youngsters there. this potentiality is in you. But then, if you're not face to face with this as yet, or at least not to its full extent, in today's topic, we will be exploring ways in which we can expand our horizons. So you must understand, there were beautiful questions asked. Mananiya Upadhyay ji gave beautiful description of how the ancients did the measurements and calculations. I have had the good fortune of meeting some of the most extraordinary Himalayan masters who are not otherwise available in the open. And the kind of intricate knowledge they had about the creation is unparalleled. Some of the information, as Sir said, is still not available with us. But the question is, they don't have any advanced instruments like all of us scientists have. How did they know? And this question always intrigued me. And that is where I came across Kabir Das ji's beautiful pointing. Kabir Das ji was an illiterate. And there were many greats like that in this country. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, another great master. He couldn't even sign his name. But he was able to create somebody like the great Vivekananda, who represented our nation worldwide. You see, these great masters, Kabir Das ji, for example, says, Ik sade sab sade. If you are able to tap into this one and realize this one, everything can be known. In fact, in the Kathopanishad, the great sage Udalaka tells his son Shvetaketu the same thing. Have you learned that one thing, knowing which all that is known and all that is unknown can be known? Can you imagine the extent of possibilities that is being explored in this statement? All that is known itself, we must in all humility agree we cannot know. In fact, in one subject, we cannot know everything. And it is our constant effort to, have a delta incremental knowledge in whatever we are trying to study with the best of the scientific methodologies. But then here the sage is asking his son, have you known that one thing by knowing which all that is known and all that is unknown can be known? What is that one thing? And that is the exploration of this session, because I have been privileged, all of us have been privileged since yesterday to listen to some of the great scientists who have assembled here, great philosophers and teachers who have assembled here. But we must understand whether it was the sages of the yore or some of the greatest scientists of the current time, all of them had the same instrument, that is this human body, and the same potentiality. And guess what? All of us also have the same instrument. So what we are going to explore in this session is how can we enhance this instrument without limitation, and probably look at some aspects that do limit us. So one concept which was taken up for the G20 meet last year, it is not a concept but actually a truth that resonates all around us, and we need to see if we have the eyes to see it. And that will be one of the explorations here. And that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I bow down to my master, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, who made me whatever I am, both a scientist and a seeker of truth. And I see that absolute potential in all of you. So before I begin this presentation per se, I take this opportunity to bow down to each one of you as the highest potential. Thank you for honoring me with your presence today. Thank you. Yeah, so a broad outline. We are going to explore some absolute fundamentals in order to understand science and spirituality. And we'll take a deep dive into the topic. And the third point is of real interest to me. Being an academician, scientist, teacher, at one day I had this moment in my life, I felt, okay, enough of talking to people, right? What is in my experience, can that be passed on to somebody else? That became my passion. So, experientially, let's explore how to change our experience of the world and to bring out the best from us, right? So, let's explore the fundamentals to begin. So, this is a question to all of you. Can you all sit straight? Sit straight. So, firstly, youngsters, sitting straight has got tremendous power. Just keeping the spine straight, but relax, not strict and tight, but relax like a bamboo, right? From the base of your spine till the top of your head, right? Very good. Sit as still as possible. Sit as still as possible, unmoving. Wherever you are, sit as still as possible, unmoving. Very good. Now let's explore this question. Are you moving now? Breakfast nahi hua? Yes, na? You're moving. Then sit still, don't move. Still you're moving. Okay, how are you moving? Okay, then at what speed are you moving? Okay, at the speed of Earth's rotation. Is that all? Tell me. Okay, let's explore. You see, 1,670 kilometers per hour is the rotation of Earth around its axis. You're sitting on Earth, so naturally, you're moving at that speed as well, right? But that's not all. 107,000 kilometers per hour is the revolution around the sun. That's also happening simultaneously. And guess what? 828,000 kilometers per hour around the galactic center. Our entire solar system is moving. And we think we are still. Right? So you look at it, the way we perceive the world is a very personal story for us. It may not be the reality. This is a beautiful story that taught me this. There was this man who was, who had a fight at home. I don't want to say who. Depending on your context, you can extrapolate. It could be the husband, it could be the wife, it could be the brother, it could be the sister, whoever, right? But then he had a fight at home and he wanted to be alone. So he went to the lake and got onto a boat and, he was rowing. He went somewhere into the middle of the lake and he was writhing in anger and naturally blaming everybody else except himself. And suddenly, from behind, somebody came and banged into his boat. Another boat, right? In another boat, somebody came and banged into his boat. And all that was penting up within himself suddenly burst forth, right? He turned around and shouted, "How dare you do this?" And when he turned around, it was an empty boat. An empty boat that just floated its way and hit his boat. And he was trying to see whom to blame, but there was nobody. It was just an empty boat, you see. And all his anger went puss. In the same way, in our life, we always try to find somebody to blame. Our perspective may not be the reality. But sometimes if we have the courage to turn around and see the reality, then our life itself might change after that, right? Another daily experience. What is in our experience? That sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Does the sun rise at all? No, we know that. So what we see as an absolute experience, nobody can deny that the sun rises. But it is not true yet, right? So this is something that I want you to explore as seekers of truth. Now the seeking can be in the external world where it's called science, or in the internal world where it is called the spiritual science or spirituality. But the seeking is the same, of the same nature. So we have reality and we have experience. Reality is that which is. Whatever is as it is reality. And what is experience? That which is perceived. What we think is the reality for us is the experience. Now, the reality is actually independent of the sensory inputs. Now, the sun is right there. Whether we see the sunrise or sunset, the sun is there, right? Do you agree? But The sunrise and sunset is based on the sensory experience. Without the senses, without your eyes, you cannot see the sunrise, right? As simple as that. And the experience is based on these 5 inputs that we gain through the 5 senses. And if you see, all the senses that we create in science also have to cater to one of these for us to understand the characteristic of whatever we are studying. What is the Shabda, sound, Sparsha, touch, Rupa, form, Rasa, taste, Gandha, smell. Because these are the only instruments through which we know this world. And let's do a hypothetical experiment, all of you. Are you in for it? Great. Now, do this experiment, hypothetical. For a moment, right, imagine your sense of touch completely is gone. Like anesthesia, general anesthesia, but you're awake. Right? Your sense of touch is completely gone. Your sense of, I'm going to tell hearing last because then you shouldn't stop hearing me. So the sense of seeing is, sight is completely gone. The sense of smell, just do this with me. Just visualize it's gone fully, right? Just for 30 seconds. It's completely gone. The sense of smell is completely gone. Sense of taste is completely gone. And finally, the sense of hearing, sound, is completely gone. And all the memory associated with anything to do with sound, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is completely erased from you. Now describe the world to me. Can you? You see? There is no world of experience without Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. This is what the sages said. This you can actually check. Hypothetically at least, because right now you have all the senses. But in your deep sleep, for example, in Shushupti, deep sleep, you see that there is no experience at all. Have you experienced deep sleep? Yeah? So what was your experience in deep sleep? Anything, because there is nothing that was experienced, you see. So when there are no senses to evaluate the data that's coming through the 5 senses, right? When there is no mind, that is the software that absorbs all of these inputs, you don't know what the world is. We are coming to that. So, you look at this, your entire experience is based on these 5 senses. Now tell me, are they reliable? Are they reliable? Not really. Depending on whether you're wearing specs or not, what power it is. So I'm wearing a specs. Now I remove this. I'm not very sure in the 14th and 15th row who is sitting. I have eyes, but I can't see still, right? So I need some add-ons in order to, see this. So all senses, our audibility is different. You know that animals and birds have different capacities in terms of these 5, right, to us. So what we are trying to drive at is, first of all, we are perceiving the world through a highly limited instrument or set of instruments, right? And they are not the same for everybody. They vary in their degrees of efficiency. And through that, we decide that whatever I have accumulated is the absolute truth. That is not scientific. You see? So let's give ourselves the scope to be true seekers of truth, right? So truth itself, is described in 3 ways. Satyam or truth is that which does not change with 3 periods of time. This is the absolute, the consciousness that we are talking about. And the consciousness in the manifest world is called rhythm, which expresses itself as an order. You see the cosmic intelligence. There must be some intelligence in the world. It's impossible that the creation is happening like in a dumb way, like on its own. It's not possible. Just walk around and see the plants. What tremendous intelligence. You throw seeds into soil and it becomes a plant. It gives you beautiful flowers, the colors, the texture, unimaginable, right? It can't be a dumb thing. I don't know what the debate is about really in this. Because the point is, we may say it may not be the intelligence like the human intelligence. That's true. But then, can we not open our eyes and see that something fantastic is happening in this creation? Not by you and me for sure. Right? So there is something there. So that intelligence, if you want to call it intelligence or whatever, it is called rhythm or cosmic order. But where the truth kind of overlaps with our daily experience is what is called as nijam or fact. The fact is something that may be true in a context, in deshakala paristiti, in a context, in a circumstance and time, but it can change. For example, somebody is wearing a red dress today, right? So you say that person is wearing a red top. Is it true forever? No, but in this moment it may be true. See, that is a fact. It may not be true across periods of time, but in this given moment it is true. So that is a fact. So we kind of constrain fact to the box of deshakala parasthiti. That is situation, time and space, right? Now let's look at what's all this to do with the topic that we want to explore, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Right? This is a beautiful shloka, and we need to know the whole shloka, not just the phrase Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, in order to explore this. It says, Ayam nijaha paro veti ganana lagu chetasam udara charitanam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. What a beautiful shloka is this. It says, this is mine or not mine, calculate those with a small mind, it is said. Means those who are only tapping into their limited potential. This is me, this is all that I know, the whole world is just about what I know. That is small mind, lagu chetasam. And it says, such a mind would only say, this is me and this is not me. This is mine and this is not mine. Then it goes on to say, those with exalted character, udara charitanam, those great beings, whether they are scientists or sages whom we extol, you will recognize this quality in them, that they are able to see the whole world as a family. The whole earth is family. I have a slight variation to this as an interpretation. Say, those with exalted character indeed see all as family, as is nature. Nature is like that only. Nature is so beautiful that if you take an axe to cut the tree is still giving you shade. The tree is, if it's a sandalwood tree, it will give you even the axe, it will give the sandalwood fragrance. The whole nature is constantly working to support us. We pollute the nature, but still the trees are trying to, take the carbon dioxide in, make it as compatible as possible for us to survive. Yes or no? If the nature does not support us, can we survive? It's impossible, you see. So in nature does not consider human beings as alien to itself. No, though we behave like that. But human beings who's very much part of the nature, but bestowed with a unique intelligence aspect, is unable to recognize this, that actually we are just part of the nature. So what is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? In short, in human experience there is only one religion, the religion of love. There is only one caste, the caste of humanity. There is only one language, the language of the heart. There is only one God and He is omnipresent, you see. This story is quite famous. I'm not going to go into it because of the time. But you know how the Parsis entered India. All of you are familiar? If not, Google it. You will know. But the point here is, it is the culture of Bharat to always include everybody. It has never been for us to exclude people in our life. So let's see, what do we expect from a family, right? From a family, we expect these aspects, these qualities. Our family must be nurturing. Our family must be caring, protecting, mutual dependence, belongingness. Do you agree? You expect all this from your family. You look at nature. How nurturing is nature? It provides all the food and vanaspati that we need for our survival. Even if you are in ill health, nature provides what we need, right? Even as scientists, what we do, biomimics. We try to mimic the nature. We take natural products from the nature and then convert it into products that help humanity. Caring the shade of the tree, protecting ozone. I don't have to elaborate all of this. Even at body level, look at how nature functions. Extraordinary, if a thorn pricks your leg, does your right hand feel, no, the thorn pricked the left leg, this is right hand, why should I go and remove it? Does it feel like that? No, they function very differently. They look very differently. But the whole body functions as a family. You see that? That is how nature is. And we are nature. So this is a very interesting study that happened in Rayalaseema, Puttaparthi, the place where I did my studies. This study was, of course, done by one of my teachers. So there is high fluoride content in the water. And look at how nature works. Because of high fluoride content, you know that when they're cooking with the same water, that fluoride can get into the system and it can cause fluoride toxicity in the body. And guess what helps eliminate fluoride toxicity? High protein diet, tamarind. These are two things that help eliminate fluoride from the system. And guess what? In this region, which is very arid region of Rayalaseema, the two crops that grow naturally, the farmers don't know the science. It just grows there. Well, they are making their living out of it. You know what are the two crops? One is groundnut, another is tamarind. You'll find so many tamarind trees. You'll find groundnut growing so freely. Especially if you go into the rural areas of Rayalaseema, you'll see these big, bullock carts with groundnut harvests, huge. And you'll find all these kids running around that and taking free groundnuts from there and, going. Nature takes care like that, you see. So our entire journey as a seeker is this. It's literally this much. From Lagu Chetasam, like limited mindset, from a small mindset, we must gravitate to an exalted character, Vishala Bhavam. And that gravitation happens through awareness. So how do we make this awareness happen? Two aspects. You expand your heart. Vishala Bhavam. Include as many people as you can. As much part of the creation. All animals, plants. In your heart, you include them. So that whatever you work. Yesterday, sir spoke about intention. And that intention is so powerful. You see. Have Vishala Bhavam. And the second aspect is Ekagrata. Absolute focus. In fact, you will find these two qualities in the greatest of scientists and sages. They had Vishala Bhavam, inclusive nature, and they had absolute focus in what they did. You see, these are the two qualities that I would encourage all of you to nurture. And how do you do that? That is the important part. Very simple exercise I'll give you as a life coach. Every morning, wake up, write down in your note, have a note next to your bed. Write down in the note the 5 people you can remember without whose efforts you could not have gone through your day. Right? It could be the milkman, it could be the dhobi, it could be your mother, it could be anybody that comes to your mind. But write the names of the 5 people. 5 is a minimum, you can go on with the list, right? But take a minute and express gratitude to all of them. That expands your heart, you see. And gratitude is shown to also lead to great levels of wellness, scientifically shown. That those who practice this gratitude, the feel-good hormones in them are in much higher levels, and therefore they are much more, better states of wellness for them as well. And the second aspect is from the Yoga Sutra, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. This is such a powerful, these two sutras. Actually, you can stop Yoga Sutra there in some sense. But then, if only we were that intelligent. What it says is, if you are able to withdraw yourself from the whirlpools of your thoughts, what are your thoughts? Just the data you collected and you keep running them around in your head. So that whirlpool, if you're able to distance yourself from that, tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam, then the consciousness rests in itself, in its original nature. And that is when you tap into the intuition of what the data is also not telling you. And new discoveries happen from that space. And in conclusion, can I just have 12 seconds of your time in a simple practice that combines both these techniques for you? And it is called thumb meditation. Thumb meditation. You all have thumb. So it's easy. You need your thumb and you need 12 seconds of time wherever you are. Right? What you need to do, sit straight. Hold your thumb in front. Right? Just look at the thumb. You don't have to do anything else. Just look at the thumb. I'll keep time. Ready? 12 seconds, start. Stop. What just happened? You see, some of you may have thoughts running around, some of you may have felt absolute stillness already, right? Depending on how you are now. But you see, this is probably the easiest way. So 12 seconds of this practice is one dharana, means concentration. 12 into 12, 2 minutes 24 seconds of continuous undeterred attention is one dhyana, not meditation, contemplation. And into 12, which is around 27 minutes and 42 seconds, is one samadhi, which is called meditation. You see? Just focused attention, don't involve with any thought. With this simple practice, you can just extend the time as you feel like. Do it as often as you can through the day. You have a study to do, you have a work to attend to, just pause for a moment, focus for 12 seconds at least, and go ahead and see what difference it makes in your life. So, two practices, what are they, students? Gratitude, and second practice, thumb meditation. Make this part of your life and see how it changes, how you start discovering your potential more and more. Thank you so much.
We have conducting for last 20 weeks, like this eminent Arun Upadhyay ji and Sai Giridhar, eminent scholars who can give the real essence of the life and Vedic knowledge. So please register your names. We are continuing the webinars, weekly webinars, and we are giving 1 hour, even 1.5 hours to them, because this is not, it won't available in Google. Google will give only information, not experience. So register all names in our link, and thank you, Sai Giridhar ji.